This is for the ulti-gen more than anything. You need a shield, Green's Dragon Blood. Right here's your flex spot. Depending on what you're doing, you can put chains here if you need chains. You can put Stone Giant for stagger. You can put defensive stance if you need more block mitigation. This skill right here will probably make you the most tankiest. If you feel like you're taking a lot of damage, this will help you take less damage when you're blocking. You can put balance here. Most of the time I just put it on my back bar. Uh, but anything goes really here in this slot, whatever you feel like you need here. Um, Also guard can go right here if you need to guard someone. This would be the place to do it. For my front bar ultimate, most of the time I have bury here just for the magical recovery. Uh, Sometimes it's a good oh shit button for your DPS in dungeons. Um, Magma Shell if you need to be selfish. For our back bar, I've got Blockade. Blockade is here for keeping up your enchant on your back bar. And then we have Inner Rage. Inner Rage, if you don't need a ranged taunt, then you can put chains here, or you can put talons. Cinderstorm, I have this because a lot of the times when I'm running dungeons, I don't run with the healer. And this is just for the extra heals. But this is also a flex spot, so whatever you need at the time, if you need altar, whatever goes, whatever you need here. Crushing Shock if you need to interrupt. Ellie Drain if your group needs Ellie Drain. Spiders if you want a little bit more DPS in the group. Balance. This Nords don't really need very much help with their resistances, but balance does really help with your keeping your magicka topped off. And if you don't keep your magic up, you're gonna die because Dragon Knights use a lot of magicka, and this skill is really important. I feel like it's more necessary to have this than it is hardened armor, because balance doesn't cost resources and it gives you magicka back, whereas this gives you major resolve and or it will give you major resolve and the small damage shield, but it does cost magicka. And in the long range of things, spending a lot of your magicka just to keep this up uh, can cut into your overall sustain. And then I have orbs here. I personally just like to run orbs, always throw an extra orb in the group. Not necessarily because you're doing any extra healing, but the synergy is good for the group. There's a lot of Magicka DPS throwing the DPS orbs, and I always find that I'm always looking for the healing orbs. They give a lot more resources back. And then for our back bar, usually I have Horn here. Yeah, usually just keep Horn here, but I was running Vast earlier, and I have Horn on my front bar because I wanted to be able to pop whenever you can. You can get caught bar swapping in Vast and get smacked really easy and die. So I just put it here on the front bar. For my gear, I'm running Alkosh and Yonakrin, of course. My main hand on my front bar is Decisive with the stamina enchant. You could go for a shock glyph for more off balance uptime, but really that's up to you. It's not gonna change the off balance too much, but it will help if you put a shock glyph here. And then I have an infused shield with a triglyph. I hear that sturdy here is a little bit better, but I just like having more stats personally. And then I personally run an ice staff with a crusher enchant. A shock staff is going to be better for the group, but I just like the ice staff personally. And then for monster helmets, you can use blood spawn from our ultimate if you need it. This is probably the squishiest of the sets that you're going to run as a tank. This will make you the most squishiest. And Stonekeeper is probably my personal favorite whenever you're taking a lot of hits. Symphony of Blades is really good. Engine Guardian is really good if you're not taking enough hits to proc in Stonekeeper. This is really good for sustain. Earthgore, I really don't use it too much, but sometimes it can save your life. So if you really need big heals, this might be the helmet for you. And then Thorvikin. Thorvikin can be good for really big trash pools. This will maim everything that's close to you. And then I usually, on all 7 pieces of armor, I have triglyphs on all of them. A lot of people usually run health glyphs on the small body pieces, but once again, I like to have as much max stats as I can personally get. And then I'm running Perfected Yonakrin. This should be infused on my legs, but I haven't transmuted it yet. And on the big pieces, which is going to be head, chest, and legs, those will all be infused. And then the small pieces are all going to be sturdy, which once again my boots are reinforced because I haven't transmuted them. But perfect chill on the body. All triglyphs, all pieces. I run all 7 heavy. I don't think it's necessary. You could go with 2 medium or 1 heavy, 1 light. That's personally up to you. I like running 7 heavy. And then for your jewelry, if you're running Alkosh and you're expecting a lot of synergies, you could run double harmony, 2 bracing enchants, and then I run 1 infused magical recovery. Magical recovery is not really a big deal if you're running balance because you just spam balance whenever you're not, or after a heavy attack, and you get all your magicka back anyways. Harmony is also going to help you get a lot of your magicka back. But what I have found that's the most steady for me is 1 Triune bracing enchant, 1 magicka recovery infused, and then harmony bracing. And I still like to run bracing on my jewelry because I run 3 pieces of it infused, well actually 4, because of my shield. I run infused a lot of the times, or actually all the time I do. And if you're not going to run Alkosh, if you need to be a little bit selfish, I find that Battalion Defender and Dragon Guard are my go-to sets. but that may not be the case for you. You may need to figure out what you need for self-sustaining if you think that you're going to be a little bit squishy in Yonakrin and Alkosh in dungeons, but you're definitely going to be wearing this in trials. Unless you're away from the group, then you can wear something else. And then for my attributes, I have 18 Magicka, 36 health, and 10 stam. You really don't need much more health than this, and this also gives you enough max stats to keep you sustained for a while. Having the harmony on your jewelry will keep your stats up high, and our resistances are pretty high as a Nord, so when you can't use balance to keep up your resist buffs, your resistances are going to be pretty high already. So when we do pop our resistance buffs, then we're over the cap. So you're always tanky all the time. Like this, your resistances are really good. For the Moonstone, I like the Lord because your heals, your Dragon Blood is based off of how much health you have. And I believe that the shield that you get is also based off your max health. So having the Lord helps your heals up a little bit. A lot of people, some people go with the Atronach, but the Atronach kind of gets negated when you have the ability to spam balance whenever you need to. So I like to have the extra health. I like to have a lot of max stats. This just works for me the best. This is my usual setup in most dungeons and trials. When I tank the dragons in Sunspire though, I will sometimes put on defensive stance for the extra block mitigation. This will decrease the amount of damage you take by 10% when you block. Sometimes you don't always need it. Sometimes the heals just aren't there. Is there anything else? Oh, for food I use Bewitched Sugar Skulls. It's just the best food for tanking. If you're not, if this is a little bit too expensive for you, you could go with the purple Tri-Stat food. But I think it's not as much max stats. And you don't get the health recovery. Health recovery is kind of stupid. You don't really need it, but it does help. It is a noticeable difference. I'm not a vampire. You don't want to be a vampire on your tank. Well, not anymore, at least. It used to be good for the 10% Magicka recovery, but now that we don't get the recovery, we get the cost increase. There's no reason to be a vampire as a tank anymore. So if your tank is a vampire, cure it. If you have any questions, send me a message and we'll get to you as soon as I can. This is pretty much my setup for everything, and I hope this helps you out.